Well, hello everyone. Good to see you again. Today we've got an exciting lesson about the world of bees. Are you ready? Boys and girls, I am so glad that you're back in school, and I wish I could be with you because there's so many things we've had fun learning about. But today I'll come to you through the video camera, and I want to talk to you about bees. I just love bees because bees are so important. How many of you love to eat honey? I really like honey. Honey in my tea every morning, honey on my yogurt. It's so good, and it's so good for you. And bees, as we all know, make honey. They're also important pollinators. So I have bees on my farm to pollinate the crops. My berry plants need the bees to carry the pollen back and forth and develop the berry that will grow on the bush. But I also like just having bees for the sake of having the honey too. There are lots and lots of bees. This is a pamphlet just about some of the many bees. What we're going to talk about today is the domestic honeybee. I have a neat book that your teacher may share with you, and it's all about the life of a honeybee. And they have such an interesting life. But today what I want to talk about is the domesticated honeybee. Like I said, I use these on my farm to pollinate my blueberry plants and the other crops that I grow. And I also get some of this yummy honey out of my bees. The bee life is really interesting. It starts out laying as an egg, and then it goes to a larva, grows into a larva, finally a pupa, and then an adult bee. Now, what I have here is a piece of comb, and this is made out of wax that the bee produces. And the reason for that wax is to lay the eggs in. So the bees will put together this wonderful comb. The queen will come along and lay her egg. There's only one queen, and she just goes around laying eggs in each of these cells that they have created. She then closes it up, and they wait for the egg to develop into the larvae and then grow into a pupa for it to finally hatch. This is also where they put their honey and cap it later, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So this is a honeycomb. I want to show you a few more things. This is a hive box, and these are called frames. When we put our frames in for the bees, they don't have anything on them but a little pattern of some hexagonal comb. And this is what the bees will build their comb on. After the bees have gathered and made the comb, they will come in. This is what one looks like after they've made the comb. And just like I said before, they'll lay their eggs, or their honey will be stored in these cells that we will gather later. So we put this in a box, and then we put the bees in this box, and pretty soon I'm going to show you inside the beehive that I have that's active. There is one queen for every hive, just one, and she's the boss of that entire hive. There are worker bees that start out as little tiny immature bees and grow to be adult bees, where they actually go out and collect the pollen and the nectar to come back and make honey for the hive. So she lays the eggs. The bees are then nursed and taken care of by all the worker bees, and every bee that you see out flying is a female worker bee. The queen is always in the hive, and the boy bees, they're only here for a little while and then they go away. So the bees that you see are all girl worker bees. And they come back, they bring the stuff back that the hive needs, that the queen needs, and their job is to keep their queen happy. And when the queen is happy, everybody's happy, and the hive is moving along. So you know what's interesting? We often think that bees just go out and get honey and bring it back to the hive, but they actually have to make it. Here's something that's really funny, boys and girls, when you think about it. The bee goes out, she collects the nectar. She comes back, she spits the nectar out. She's got a carrying sac for it. She sucks it back up, and she kind of like throws it up again. It comes back out of her mouth, out of her thorax, and it is what is capped off and what we use as honey later on. Kind of gross when you think about it, but it's an amazing way that nature creates and takes care of the beehive. The beehive, the honey that they make, is not really intended for us. It's intended for the queen and the hive, but we have a special way of collecting some of that honey so that we can put it in a jar and use it in our cooking and in our tea and other things that we might want to use it, and leave plenty for the bees so they can hopefully make it through the winter. It's a long, hard winter up here, and the bees need to have lots of honey. So I'm gonna step into my bee suit and head on down to the hive. Wow, that was fast, wasn't it? Okay, I've got my smoker to get ready. We're gonna head down to the hive and crack it open and see if we can look at some bees. Let's head down. Come along with me, will you? All right, boys and girls, I have my smoker going. We're gonna go in and visit the bees. Now remember, the smoke won't hurt them, it just makes them kind of sleepy. I'm gonna come put some at the door. The bees are going to go down into the hive, deeper into the hive. And we're going to pop out one of our frames and see how the bees are doing. We might have the queen, but we just don't know. But here is where the bees are preparing the comb. They'll get it ready for the queen to come along and lay her eggs, and then they will cap it over, and the new baby bees will start growing as eggs, larvae, pupa, and finally hatch out. Things are looking good in the hive. They seem happy and calm. I want to be careful to never hurt the queen. Oh, boys and girls, this is really good. Right in here, where the brown is over the comb, is where they've already laid eggs. And those eggs will grow, and they will turn into those baby bees. Sometimes you can find the queen. She's somewhere there. Might be right here. The nursing bees are always with the queen, tending to her needs. So where you find a cluster of bees all facing the same way, you're probably going to see the queen. Things are looking good. So I'm going to let my bees go back to work. They seem to be very happy. They like the dandelion pollen right now. So when you see dandelions, leave them be for the bees. They will love that. I have to put my lid back on. Isn't this amazing how wonderful these bees are? Well, boys and girls, I hope you've enjoyed our time together learning about bees and how they make honey and how they pollinate. That's so important. The bees are just a small part of my farm, but they're a very important part so that they can pollinate the berries that we pick in the summertime. Right now, they're out collecting pollen from the dandelions. So if you see a dandelion, just leave it be, because the bees need that. So they're beautiful, even though sometimes we try to take them away. So take care of those bees, take care of the pollinators. It was good to be back with you. Look forward to another time together. Keep singing those songs and thinking about gardens. We'll see you next time. Have a good day. Well, if you liked that video, be sure to press like and subscribe to more.